Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Good Love Podcast, a Good Love project production with your friendly neighborhood sex geek and good lover, Katrina Boots Rainsong. Here at the GLP, we strive for informed, enthusiastic consent, so this is your content warning. The Good Love Podcast is a sex and relationship education podcast directed to adult listeners. We offer playful, powerful, and positive education on sexuality, pleasure, kink, sexual health and wellness, and a slew of other grown and sexy topics. If you find any of these topics objectionable, you're welcome to skip an episode or even the whole show. If you're under 18, we recommend heading over to scarletine.com for all youth-focused sex ed needs. Now, if you're an enthusiastic yes, get comfy and enjoy the show. Hello, my good lovers. Happy Thursday. This week's episode is going to be a sampler of my newest YouTube series, Bad Bitch BDSM Reviews, or B3R as I call it. That's not actually true. I only use B3R when I'm naming my files because I don't want to have to type the whole thing out. But anyway, Bad Bitch BDSM Reviews is a kinksters reacting and reviewing to kinky films series. And episode 2 will be dropping at the end of the month, watching the film Belle de Jour with my new friend, Kinky Kupcake. So you'll be getting to hear the pre and post viewing conversations. If you would like to watch the film with us and get all of our reactions in direct real time, you can do so by joining the Patreon, where all full episodes will be available. You also, of course, have the option to pause this episode, go watch the movie, and then come back, because obviously there will be spoilers, and I take no responsibility for spoilers for any films, particularly ones that have been out for more than 40 years. So, kick back and enjoy. Hey, good lovers! It's another episode of Bad Bitch BDSM Reviews, where I, a real-life kinkster, invite a friend and colleague, also a real-life kinkster, to watch kinky movies, react, and review to them. Who are you, friend?
I am Kinky Kupcake.
And what are we watching today?
Something in French with English subtitles.
Oh, yeah. We're watching Belle de Jour with Catherine Deneuve, who probably, I think most Americans are probably best know her as the main vampire character in the 1980s film The Hunger, which, if you haven't seen, is super fantastic, and David Bowie's in it. It's just so good. It's so goth and it's so gay. I love it.
I'll have to check that one out.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So, Belle de Jour is the story of a woman who, has these, really intense fantasies of, submission and degradation, and she kind of, starts, living a double life, working in a brothel during the day while her husband is at work, so that she can explore her fantasies. And yeah, That's the premise. So, and it's gonna get weird, of course, because it's kink and it's French.
I love it. That's right on my alley.
Yeah, it's gonna get weird. So, all right, Criterion Collection. So you know it's gonna be fancy and artistic. If you're playing the home version of this game, this would be where you pause and go watch the movie and come back if you want to.
2 hours later.
So that's Belle de Jour, 1967, leaving you with the feeling of,
Huh?
what?
Yeah. Was he really paralyzed? Was that a dream?
That's the thing, it's like, I don't know. Like, yeah. It's like, is she now having her little fantasy about, like, him being better because she is sad about him being hurt, or was he not hurt, and that whole other thing was a fantasy? I don't know, this second time around watching this, like, especially the whole thing with Husan, like, telling on her at the end, it's like, was this a big, elaborate, like, cuckold fantasy? Yeah. It's so wild and very enigmatic. Like, second time I watched it, still have no idea. But I definitely noticed more themes this time.
Yeah, there's definitely something about cats.
Cats
and
bells, yeah. Which, like, is interesting because I don't know, have you seen, like, I don't know if you're into horror or not, if you've seen, like, the Hellraiser movies. It's a horror franchise that also, like, deals with, like, kind of some, like, BDSM elements. And when the Cenobites, who are, like, these otherworldly beings, whenever they're going to appear, they're also, like, kind of heralded by the sound of bells.
Okay.
So it made me think of that, and so it's like, so it's like, did the bells signify when she is fantasizing? Like, is the bell, like, a symbol for, almost for, like, her subconscious, like, just the thoughts that we carry in the back of our mind? I would love to hear your thoughts on it, as confused as they probably are, because mine definitely are.
Yes, definitely confused, but definitely, like, relatable to it. The shift between, like, living these two separate lives because of the guilt or shame of these kinks and fantasies that we carry. Definitely that relates. Being, like, newer into this world definitely, like, relates. Just noticing, like, I don't know, like, her little, like, that after that first time, like, the switch was flipped in her head. She was like, oh, I really enjoy this. Mm-hmm. And so, like, that definitely I can relate to for sure.
Right. Yeah, that, like, feeling like a longing and almost like a fascination with something, but also being afraid of it. And then, yeah, finally, like, some level of exposure or something that makes you go, like, oh.
Yes.
I just learned something about myself.
Yeah. And then you're, like, constantly craving that thing about yourself. And you're now, like, I don't know, eager to learn more and do all the things and learn all the things.
Right. Yeah.
But also possibly putting yourself in questionable, dangerous situations.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, there's a term in the community, sub-frenzy, where, like, when someone is, like, newly discovering kink, and then they want to try everything. They want to do all the things and feel like they need to, like, push and go farther each time, and and it can lead to, like, putting yourself in questionable situations, dangerous situations. And yeah, this film is, like, a good metaphor for that that experience, for sure. Yeah. And then also, yeah, that like separation of love and lust. I know I've personally known quite a few people, and I've coached people who like have these very kinky tendencies, these fantasies, and when they're single, they'll explore them, express them. They'll go to parties or like find casual play partners to enact with, or they'll go see professionals or what have you. But then when they get into like committed romantic relationship, they turn that part off for themselves, and like they hide it because they're like closeted, and so they like hide it away, and they're very vanilla in their romantic relationships because it's like it feels like they can't have both in one, which makes me a little sad regularly. Like, I don't know if like I said, I've coached people and was like, no, you can have both. You can have like love and kink in the same relationship, and you can be, like, okay, if you enjoy degradation or humiliation from either side, giving it or getting it, like, you can enjoy that, and with someone that you love and respect, and that loves and respects you. And in fact, that's better, because then you're going to be mindful and safe with each other too. Yeah, but I think there's, especially like this time, like the like late 60s and stuff, where there is even more stigma around such things. Even just like simple, things that we would consider like simple or like basic today, like going down on someone or something, could be seen as like very, very edgy, and that's not something that you ask your wife to do because you respect her and that's the mother of your child or what have you.
And I laugh because people think that way, even still to this day.
Right.
People think that way.
Yeah. And so like there's the sex that they want to be having isn't what they're having with the people they want to be with, because there's this big like chasm between love and lust, and I guess that chasm would be shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely sad.
It is. Yeah.
And I think, just from like me diving a little deep into all of this, I think it's a little bit more accepted nowadays. Mm-hmm. Like, I obviously don't know what it was back then, but I feel like the majority of people who, like, I will open that door or drop a hint, 90% of people are like, oh yeah, okay, that's cool. Mm-hmm. Like, they're very, like, open to it or supportive of it.
Right. Yeah. Even if they're not into it themselves, they are able to be like, oh, okay,
cool, you like that.
Yeah.
All right.
Right. Yeah. You like that, and that's cool. Or even I wouldn't enjoy that, but I can see why someone else would, this is the place I try to get to with most things, even like certain fetishes and things that I'm like, nope, that's definitely a red for me for whatever reason, being able to understand why someone else might be into it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, I think we definitely have come a long way.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's definitely still people who either have to live a double life, or even if the double life isn't like a literal double life, there's like the second life going on in their heads. Yeah. So do we think she integrated it all towards the end?
Yes.
Yeah.
A friend ratted her out about her second life.
Yeah.
And maybe because of that information, it was a miracle so he could walk again.
Yes.
That part.
I like that. The fact that the fact that she like heard the bells like while she's with him. Yeah, that kind of makes me, and it seems like there was some kind of progression going on between them throughout, like, you know, her regularly saying, like, I feel closer to you, each time. That, yeah, maybe they did find a way of, like, integrating it, those two drives of, like, you know, like, tender, compassionate love and, like, lust and passion. Like, I hope they figure it out.
I hope so too.
I hope they figure it out. Yeah. And the friend is an asshole, frankly.
Yeah, he's not the coolest character.
Yeah. And the letter writing thing was really confusing.
Yeah, and then the receipt, I'll be forced to give you a receipt, and what did she say?
She's
like that's what I would expect.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, like, that was a really unclear moment of, was this fantasy or not? Because he was always kind of hitting on her, and she was always so, like, ugh, towards him.
I mean, what are you going to do with the broken bottle underneath the table?
Right? Yeah. So confusing. Definitely, yeah, I definitely think there's some idioms and some innuendos in there that
have to be, like, mistranslated.
Yeah, or they just don't translate over well. And the cats.
Yeah, the cat out of the bag, and then let the cats in, or something like that.
Yeah, and then the sound of the meowing cats with the bells at the end.
I'm glad we both noticed it all, though. Like, it has to. That's just not random.
Right, yeah, like, that was a choice.
There's no way that those things are random.
Yeah, like, someone took the time to make the Foley, the recording of cats meowing, and put it on there, so that was definitely a decision that was made.
Couldn't tell you why.
Couldn't tell you why. I know it's probably just a, you know, time frame fashion thing, but, like, all of them gushing over her super boring, unflattering beige dress. I'm just like, it's not that great. The red outfit near the end.
Yes.
I loved that one. And yeah, the black and white, it's like almost like the kind of Wednesday Addams type dress, only like a little bit elevated because, like, the collar is like kind of a satiny material or whatever. Like, those were great. Mm-hmm. Those were great. And I always love fashion in older movies. But, like, I don't know. There was a weird part of 60s fashion that was kind of, I don't know, I find kind of ugly.
I think we have that for every era of fashion.
That's true. Yeah, that definitely is true. Like, you just look and you're like, what were they thinking?
Yeah. Speaking of fashion, I did notice, I mean, nowadays you think of a dom with the, you know, the fake leather, mm-hmm. and the heels and the hair up, like, very, like, principal-esque, teacher-esque, mm-hmm. presentation, and I thought that she was presenting that a lot of the time in this movie.
True. And the fact that her name is Severine, which means, like, stern or severe.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, like, yeah, Severine, severe. Yeah, the fact that her name means that.
Interesting.
Would lead you to think that she'd be on the other side of the slash, that she would want to be dominant. I know in the book, Venus in Furs, it's a, like, piece of, like, classic erotica, and it's about, like, femdom male submission, and, like, it was written by Leopold von Sacher-Masoch, which is where we get the term masochism from, and the main character in the book, his name is Severine, so it's like the masculinized version of Severine. So again, you have a submissive character whose name means severe, stern. Just an interesting, like, little flip there. And I'm not sure if they took, whoever, like, wrote this, maybe took that from it, if it like influenced it in any way. I know that Belle de Jour, both the name Belle de Jour and the name Severine have been influences for names of other characters in like some movies and shows, but it's curious to see how far back that might go.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Especially that last outfit, it was very. I mean, the guy says like schoolgirl, precocious schoolgirl, but it does, yeah. Especially with the very, very tidy French twist.
Yes.
It is very like headmistress, principal, and she was in a caretaker role at that point too, which tends to be. I mean, can be seen. Caretaking can be dominant or submissive, really, but like. All of those pieces together. What thoughts?
I enjoyed it.
Good, yeah.
I liked it.
Awesome.
Especially because I can relate so much to it right now. It was good.
Cool.
I can't tell you the last time I watched a movie from 1967 with subtitles.
Right? Yeah, and the older films tend to be a little more slower paced than the movies we watch now.
I liked it. I don't see a lot of old movies, and I kind of liked being at a slower pace and like just kind of like being sucked into like this slow storyline, and then, I mean, it confused the shit out of us at the end, but
yeah, very confusing. Kind of slow burn, and then like the drama suddenly picks up, and then it gets really confusing. Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Good, cool, awesome. I love old movies. So, where can my viewers, my listeners, if they wanted to follow you, where would the Good Lovers find you or any of your offerings if you have pluggables to plug?
Right now I am on Twitter and Instagram as Kinky Kupcake with K's, and also OnlyFans.
Awesome.
As Kinky Kupcake. Cupcake with a K.
Sweet, great. And of course, as usual, all of those links will be in the description box, so that you can easily find my guests. Thank you so much for joining me and for bringing your super adorable friend who was so well behaved.
He's like, it's nap time.
Amazing. Awesome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. All right. Till next time, keep on good loving.